So to work with our back now, to draft our back pattern, to draft our back, I'll be using a pen. So if you like, you can use different colors of pen. So it's just for you to, so that you don't get confused when you are trying to trace out the front and the back pattern. So the first thing you want to do is on this crotch line, you know, this is the crotch line for the front. On this crotch line, come to the hip line, the initial square that we formed. Come there and then go in by 1 inch. Remember, I'm starting from 1 inch. I don't want to start from this metal part. So you go in by 1 inch on the crotch line, and then you come to the waistline and go in by 2 inches like this, and then you do what, you connect it slantly up. Are you seeing the reason why we left 3 inches off there now? So you go up like so, right? Now, and then you want to increase this place. We are drafting the back pattern now. So from the waist, you want to go up. So if the person has very big bum bum, you can go up by 2 inches. But for average, me, I'll be using 1.5, since this is an average measurement. But for somebody that has a very big butt, you mark 2 inches, right? So the next thing we want to do, remember our waist measurement here was 8, because we added 1 inch for that allowance. So we are going to mark that same 8 now, but this is how we are going to be placing our tape. You see, slantly to the waistline. This is our waistline. So you come from that 1.5 inch up, and then you measure 8. Now we are starting from 1 inch, so our measurement will stop on 9 inches here, since I don't want to start from the beginning of the tape. So this is 9 inch, and then still, you know, we went up by 1/2 inch here. We do the same thing here too. We go up by 1/2 inch like this, and then we connect this place to this place like so. So we have something like this. From this point, 1/2 inch that we went up, we have this like this, and then we can connect small this 1/2 inch like this, right? So the next thing we want to do is to measure our hip. So before I measure, I want to extend all this line, this line, the crotch line. I'll extend it to the hand. The hip line, I will extend it to the hand. Then the waistline is already extended, so no need. So the next thing we want to do is to mark our initial hip divided by 4 inches. You know, we have 9.5, so that is what we want to mark now. So from this 1 inch that we came in with, we mark 9.5. So, and you know, our 9.5 will now be on 10.5, since we started our measurement from 1 inch. So 9.5, right? And then, so whatever that I have left here, I'm going to put it here on the hip line. So let's see what we have here. So we have 2 inches left here. We'll put the 2 inches up here as well, like so, right? Now the next thing we want to do is to divide our hip by 10. Remember, for the front, we divided the hip by 20. That was why we have 1.9, sorry, here for the crotch extension. So for the back extension, we measure our hip divided by 10. So the hip is 38. The hip is 38. We divide it by 10. 3.8. So that is 3.8. So we are going to be putting the 3.8 starting from this new line. This is our new line for the back. So 3.8 will be like this. And now remember, we are starting from 1, so it will now be 4.8 that we'll put it, but we'll mark it on 1, and then we'll connect it back like that. All right. So after that, the next thing we want to do is to, on this same hip line, we will come out by 0.5. The same thing we did for the front, we are doing for the back. So we'll come out by 0.25, sorry, 0.25 like that. And then we want to connect from here to here, from this point here like this. We want to connect to here and then blend it back. Okay, and you have to also be careful here, because you don't want to make any mistakes. So you can see the way I'm placing my cuff. You can see the way I'm placing my cuff. I want it to come in and be on this part like this. So I'm trying to adjust my cuff to that effect. Okay, so now that I've gotten that, I would simply come in and then connect my point like so, right? So I've been able to do that now like so, and then I'll blend it back to the crotch line like this. You can see you have to be calm while you are doing this part, so that you get a perfect shape. Okay, so we have our crotch ready for the back like that. All right, so the next thing we want to do is to mark our dart line for this back. And how do we do that? We simply divide this place. Since we said it's 8, so half of it is 4. So remember, we start from 1 inch, that is why it's on 5. So, and then how do you now get the straight line? So like I said, you will use this part to get your straight line from any angle, So from this place now, I will just place this part on this straight line. I'm trying to find a straight line for our dart. Okay, so that is perfect now. And then the next thing I want to do, the back dart should not be more than 5 to 5.5. So I place it on 6, and then I'll mark on 1, and then we'll connect here. And then the next thing we want to do is to mark the, you know, we added 1 inch, so we'll be marking half here, and then we'll connect it back to the end of that dart like so. All right, so we have gotten that. So the next thing is we want to connect this from here to here and to here, and then we finish up. So I'll be doing it this way. You connect this. I try to blend it in there, and then it's a light curve. I don't want this place to be curvy like that, but yet I want it a bit curvy, so I use that, and that is okay. And then the next thing, which is like the final stage, is to increase this part. Once you have been able to get this part, every other part is simple. And what do? You just add ½ inch to the nail line on the side, ½ inch on the crotch line, ½ inch on the ankle, ½ inch like so, and that is all. So you add half inch here, half of an inch here as well. You come down to the ankle, ½ inch, and at the side, ½ an inch. And then we do what? We connect all our lines like so. Okay. Remember I said let it not be too coffee, so you place it this way until you get a perfect connection there. Right, I think I'm good to go, so just blend it in. So, and then for this side we connect like so. So if there's any pointy part, we just blend it in. No really, but let me just so. And our trouser pattern is ready, both for the front and the back. So I believe with this we should be able to do a professional, be able to draft a professional pants. And like I said, from this basic pattern you can get your pedal pusher, your bell button, your palazzo, and all kinds of trousers from this pattern. Thank you.